First Samuel. In the books, we're at Second Samuel. We also yesterday was a day of Psalms. So this is Second Samuel 1 through 4. Now it came to pass after the death of Saul, when David returned from the slaughter of the Amalekites, and David had abode 2 days in Ziklag. He came even to pass on the third day that, behold, a man came out of the camp from Saul, with his clothes rent and his earth upon his head. And so it was when he came to David that he fell on the earth, and he did obedience. And David said unto him, From whence hast come thou? And he said unto him, Out of the camp of Israel I am escaped. And David said unto him, How went the matter? I pray thee, and tell me. And he answered, That the people are fled from battle, and many of the people are also fallen and dead. And Saul and Jonathan his son are dead also. And David said unto the young man that told him, How knowest that Saul and Jonathan his son be dead? And the young man hath told him, as it happened by chance upon Mount Gilboa. Behold, Saul leaned upon his spear, and lo, the chariots and the horsemen followed hard after him. And when he looked behind him, he saw him, and he called unto me. And he answered, Here I am. And he said unto me, Who art thou? And I answered him, I am a Amalekite. And he said unto me, Stand, I pray thee, upon me, and slay me for anguish, for it is come upon me, because my life is yet whole in me. And I stood upon him and slew him, because I was sure that he could not live after that he was fallen. And I took the crown that was upon his head, and the bracelet that was on his arm, and have brought them hither unto my Lord. And David took a hold of his clothes and rent them, likewise that all men were with him. And they mourned and wept and fasted, even for Saul and for Jonathan his son, and for the people of Jehovah and the house of Israel, and because they were all fallen by the sword. And David said unto the young man that told him, Whence art thou? And he answered, and he said, I am the son of a stranger, an Amalekite. And David said unto him, How wast you not afraid to stretch forth thy hand to destroy the Lord's anointed? And David called one of the young men and said, Go near and fall upon him. And he smote him, and he died. And David said unto him, Thy blood be upon thy head, for thy mouth has testified against thee, saying, I have slain the Lord's anointed. And David lamented with his lamentation over Saul and over Jonathan his son. And he bade them and teach them, the children of Judah, to use the bow. And behold, it is written in the book of Jasher. When it says it's written in the book of Jasher, it just means it's written in the book of the upright. Jasher is, if you pull up this Jasher in Strong's, it'll tell you that it's the book of the upright. There are removed books that you should take a look at, but Jasher isn't one of them. And the beauty of Israel is slain upon thy high places, and how art thy mighty is fallen. Tell it not in Gath, publish it not in the streets of Ashkelon, lest the daughters of the Philistines rejoice, lest the daughters of the uncircumcised triumphs. Ye mountains of Gilboa, let there be no dew. Oh, ye mountains of Gilboa, let there be no dew. Neither let there be rain upon you, nor in the fields and the offerings, for the valley and the shield of the mighty is vilely cast away, the shield of Saul, as though he had not been anointed with oil. From the blood of the slain, from the fat of the mighty, from the bow of Jonathan, turn not back, but the sword of Saul returned not empty. Saul and Jonathan were lovely and pleasant in their lives, and in their death they were not divided. They were swifter than eagles, and they were stronger than lions. Ye, daughters of Israel, weep over Saul, who clothed you in scarlet and other delights, who put ornaments of gold upon your apparel. How the mighty have fallen in the midst of battle. O Jonathan, thou wast slain in high places. I am distressed for thee, my brother Jonathan. Very pleasant hast thou been unto me, my love, for to me was wonderful, passing the love of women. How are the mighty fallen, and the weapons of war perished? And it came to pass after this, David inquired of Jehovah, saying, Shall I go up into any of the cities of Judah? And Jehovah said to him, Go up, and David, and whither thou shalt go, I go up. And he said unto Hebron. And David went hither, and his two wives, Anoam the Jezreelite, and Abigail, Nabal's wife, the Carmelite. And they went up where with him, and David bring up every man with his household, and they dwelt in the cities of Hebron. And the men of Judah came there, and they anointed David king over the house of Judah. And they told David, saying, that men of Jabesh Gilead were there, they buried Saul. And David sent messengers unto the men of Jabesh Gilead, and said unto them, Blessed be ye of Jehovah, that ye have showed this kindness unto your Lord, even unto Saul, and have buried him. And now Jehovah show the kindness and the truth unto you. And I also requite you this kindness, because ye have done this thing. Therefore now let your hands be strengthened, and ye be valiant, for your master Saul is dead, and also the house of Judah, and hath anointed me king over them. But Abner, the son of Ner, captain of Saul's host, took Ishbosheth, the son of Saul, and brought him over to Mahanaim, and made him king over Gilead, and over the Asherites, and over Jezreel, and over Ephraim, and over Benjamin, and over all Israel. Ishbosheth, Saul's son, was 40 years old when he began reign over Israel, and reigned 2 years. But the house of Judah followed David. In the time that David was king of Hebron over the house of Judah was 7 years and 6 months. And Abner, the son of Ner, and the servants of Ishbosheth, son of Saul, went out from Mahanaim to Gibeon. And Joab, the son of Zeruiah, the servant of David, went and met together by the pool of Gibeon, and they sat down on the one side of the pool and on the other side of the pool. And Abner said to Joab, Let the young man now rise and play before us. And Joab said, Let them arise. And there went over by the number 12 of Benjamin, which pertained to Ishbosheth, the sons of Saul, and 12 of the servants of David. And they caught every one his fellow by the head, and thrust his sword into the fellow's side, so that they fell down together. Wherefore the place is called Hekath Harzurim, which is in Gibeon. And there was a very sore battle that day, and Abner was beaten, and the men of Israel before the servants of David. And there were 3 sons of Zeruiah there, Joab, Abishai, and Ashiel. And Ashiel was a light foot and a wild roe. And Ashiel pursued after Abner, going in, and he turned not to the right hand nor to the left from following Abner. And Abner looked behind him and said, Art thou Ashiel? And he answered him, I am. And Abner said to him, Turn thee aside to the right or to thy left, and lay a hold on one of these young men, and take thee his armor. But Ashiel would not turn aside from following him. And Abner again said to Ashiel, Turn aside from following me. Wherefore I should smite thee to the ground, and how then should I hold my face up to Joab thy brother? Howbeit he refused to turn aside. Therefore Abner with the hinter end of his spear smote him under the 5th rib, and that the spear came out from behind him, and he fell down there, and he died in the same place. And it came to pass that as many came to the place where Ashiel fell down and died and stood still. Joab also and Abishai pursued after Abner, and the sun went down, and when they were come to the hill of Ammah, that lieth before Giah, and the way of the wilderness of Gibeon, and the children of Benjamin gathered themselves together after Abner, and became one troop, and stood on the top of the hill. And Abner called Joab and said, Shall the sword be your forever? And knowest thou not that it be bitterness in thy latter end? And how long shall it be there that thou bid the people to return from following their brethren? And Joab said, As God liveth, unless thou hast spoken, surely in the morning the people had gone up every one from following his brother. And Joab blew a trumpet, and all the people stood still and pursued after Israel no more, and neither they fought any more. And Abner and his men walked all that night through the plain, and passed over the Jordan, and went through Bithron, and they came to Mahanaim. And Joab returned from following Abner, and when he had gathered all the people together, there lacked of David's servants 19 men in Ashiel. But the servants of David had smitten Benjamin and of Abner's men, so that 360 men died. And they took up Ashiel and buried him in the sepulchre of his father, which was in Bethlehem. And Joab and his men went all night, and they came to Hebron at the break of day. Now there was a long war between the house of Saul and the house of David. But David waxed stronger and stronger, and the house of Saul waxed weaker and weaker. And unto David there were sons born in Hebron, his firstborn Ammon and Anion of the Jezreelites, and his second Chelab, Abigail the wife of Nabal the Carmelite, and the third Absalom the son of Maacah, and the daughter of Tamil king of Geshur, and the fourth Adonai the son of Haggith, and the fifth Shephthah, and the son of Abital, and the sixth Ithream by Ilgad, David's wife. These were born to David in Hebron. And it came to pass, while there was a war between the house of Saul and the house of David, that Abner made himself strong for the house of Saul. Saul had a concubine whose name was Rizpah, and his daughter was Aiah. And Ishboth said to Abner, Therefore thou hast gone into my father's concubine? And when Abner was very wroth with the words of Ishboth, and said, I am a dog's head, which against Judah do show kindness unto this day in the house of Saul thy father, to his brethren and to his friends, and have not delivered these into the hands of David, that thou hast charged me a day with fault concerning this woman. So do God to Abner, and more so, except as Jehovah has sworn to David, even so I do to him, to translate the kingdom from the house of Saul, set up throne of David over Israel and over Judah, from Dan to Beersheba. And we should not answer Abner a word again, because he feared him. And because Abner sent messenger to David on his behalf, saying, Who is the land? Saying, Make also thy league with me, and behold, my hand shall be with thee to bring about all Israel unto thee. And he said, Well, I will make league with thee, but one thing I require of thee is that thou shalt not see my face, except first bring Michal, Saul's daughter, when thou hast come to see my face. And David sent messengers to Ishbosheth, Saul's son, saying, Deliver me my wife Michal, which I espoused for me, for 100 foreskins of the Philistines. And Ishbosheth sent and took from her husband, even the Phadiel, the son of Laish. And her husband went with her along, weeping behind her to Baram, when they said Abner unto him, Go, return, and he returned. And Abner had communication with the elders of Israel, saying, Ye sought for David in times past to be king over you. Then do it. For Jehovah has spoken of David, saying, By the hand of my servant David will I save my people Israel out of the hand of the Philistines and out of the hand of all their enemies. And Abner also spake to the ears of Benjamin. And Abner also went to speak to the ears of David in Hebron, all that seemed good to Israel, and that seemed good to the whole house of Benjamin. So Abner came to David in Hebron, and 20 men with him. And David made Abner and the men that were with him a feast. And Abner said unto David, I will arise and go, and will gather all of Israel unto my lord the king, that they may make league with thee, and that thou mayest reign over them, and that all thy heart desireth. And David sent Abner away, and he went in peace. And behold, the servants of David and Joab came from pursuing a troop, and brought in great spoil with them. But Abner was not with David in Hebron, for he had sent him away, and he was gone in peace. When Joab and the host that was with him were come, they told Joab, saying, Abner the son of Ner came to the king, and he hath sent him away, and he is gone in peace. And Joab came to the king and said, What hast thou done? Behold, Abner came unto thee. Why is it that thou hast sent him away, and he is quiet gone? Thou knowest Abner the son of Ner, that he came to deceive thee, and know thy going out and thy coming in, and to know all that thou doest. And when Joab was come out from David, he sent messengers after Abner, which brought him again from the well of Sirah, but David knew it not. And when Abner was returned to Hebron, Joab took him aside in the gate to speak with him quietly, and smote him there under the fifth rib, that he died for the blood of Asahel his brother. And afterward, when David heard it, he said, I and my kingdom are guiltless before Jehovah forever from the blood of Abner the son of Ner. Let it rest on the head of Joab and on all his father's house. Let there not fail from the house of Joab one that hath issue, or that is a leper, or that leaneth on a staff, or that falleth on the sword, or that lacketh bread. So Joab and Abishai and his brother slew Abner, because he had slain their brother Asahel at Gibeon in battle. And David said to Joab to all the people that were with him, rend your clothes and gird you with sackcloth, and mourn before Abner. And the king David himself followed the bier. And they buried Abner in Hebron. And the king lifted up his voice and wept at the grave of Abner, and all the people wept. And the king lamented over Abner and said, died Abner as a foolish dieth. Thy hands were not bound, nor thy feet put into fetters, as a man falleth before the wicked men, so fellest thou. And all the people wept again over him. And when all the people came to cause David to eat meat while it was yet day, David sware, saying, so do God to me for more also if I taste bread or aught also till the sun be down. And all the people took no notice of it. All the people took notice of it, and it pleased them. Whatsoever the king did, it pleased all the people. For the people and all Israel understood that day that it was not of the king to slay Abner the son of Ner. And the king said unto his servants, know ye not that there is a prince and a great man falleth this day in Israel? And I am this day a weak, though anointed king. These men of Zariah be too hard for me. The Jehovah shall reward the doer of evil according to his wickedness. And when Saul's son heard that Abner was dead in Hebron, his hands were feeble, and all the Israelites were troubled. And Saul's son had two men that were captains of the bands, of the name that was Bana, and the name of the other was Rechab. And the sons of Rimmon, and the Beeroite, the children of Benjamin, the Beeroth, and also the reckoned Benjamin. And the name of the other was Rechab. Okay, the Rechabites get recognized in, I think it's Jeremiah 35. Remember, Rechab. And the Beeroth fled to Gideon and were sojourners until this day. They were sojourners, that's right. And Jonathan, Saul's son, and that son was the lame of his feet, and he was 5 years old. And when the tidings came of Saul and Jonathan out of Jezreel, and his nurse took him up and fled, and it came to pass, as she made haste to flee, that he fell and became lame, and his name was Mephibosheth. And his son of Rimmon the Beerite, and Rechab and Baanah went and came about the heat of the day in the house of Ishbosheth, who lay on the bed at noon. And they came hither unto the midst of the house, as though they would have fetched wheat. They smote him under the fifth rib, and Rechab, Baanah, his brother, escaped. There's got to be something with this fifth rib deal. What is going on with this fifth rib thing? Okay, they smote. Abner gets killed there. They kill the, they're all killing each other with this, by smoting him in the fifth rib. For this day they came into the house in his bed and his main chair, and they smote him and slew him and beheaded him and took away his head and got him through the plain all night. And they brought the head and they brought the head of Bulish unto David to Hebron the king. And behold, the head of Ishbosheth the son of Saul, thine enemy, which sought thy life, and the Jehovah has avenged my lord this king this day of Saul and his seed. And David answered Rechab and Baanah his brother, and the sons of Rimmon and Beeroth, and said unto them, As the Lord liveth, who hath redeemed my soul out of all adversity. When one told me, saying, Behold, Saul is dead, thinking to have brought good tidings, I took him and slew him in Ziklag. Who thought that I would have given him a reward for his tidings? How much more than the wicked men have slain the righteous person in his own house upon his bed? Shall I not know, therefore, now require his blood of your hand, and take it away from you from the earth? David commanded his young men, and they slew them. They cut off their hands and their feet, and hanged them up over the pool in Hebron. But they took the head of Bushbull and burned it in the sepulchre of Abner in Hebron. Okay. David and Saul came to that agreement in the first Samuel, that Saul would look after his children. And now his people are going out and thinking it's a good thing to kill them all. And because of those children are a bit of a pain in the butt, but David wants to look after him. But you know what he's going to do? He's going to look after Jonathan's son. I know that. I've read this book before. So that's 2 Samuel 1 through 4. That's the kingdom kind of coming together. It's kind of a rocky start to both houses. All these the Benjamites getting together back, bringing all Israel all back together again. Okay, and it's a tumultuous time. All right, I love you guys. That is 2 Samuel 1 through 4. This is day 111. Blue Letter Bible app, Bible in a Year. All right, love you guys.